You had the promise, so now it's ending. All's rest and stand on. Your promise again is good. All things rest. Adejumo, there's no time left. One race for standing. As we come this far.
While still standing, can we have the anthems? Please, can we have your words to anthem, please? LAUTECH anthem.
LAUTECH anthem.
Thank you very much. Shall we be seated, please? Shall we be seated? On behalf of the Faculty of Art and Social Sciences, LAUTECH Akitola University of Technology, Ogbomoso, I welcome us to this faculty lecture series, the top in the series. This morning, an erudite scholar who is going to take us into that lecture. But before we let me quickly introduce dignitaries built on the high table and dignitaries seated. So I'm going to start with the introduction of the Vice Chancellor, LAUTECH Akitola University of Technology, Ogbomoso, Professor Halilu, who is ably represented in this program by a very good lieutenant. When I say a lieutenant, somebody who is also like the VC. So, representing on this occasion, we have the chairman of Committee of Provost and Deans, LAUTECH, Professor APJ Ogoku. Welcome, sir. Professor Ogoku is the Dean Faculty of Sciences. You're welcome, sir. We also have the Dean of this great faculty. When I say great faculty, I mean Faculty of Art and Social Sciences. Professor Frank Adejumo. Thank you very much, sir. So before I go to the lecture himself, it's the Chancellor, sir, permit me to introduce one of our council members who is, I was told, represented the chairman of the council. So please join me, Mr. Adejumo. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. We really appreciate your coming. Now, to our lecturer, please join me with a loud ovation in welcoming Professor Adejumo. Thank you very much, sir. Professor Adejumo is a professor of literary and cultural communication. Sir, I have dignitaries also seated here for recognition. And I want to start with His Royal Majesty, the Alapa of Okiaka, Professor Akitola. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir, for coming, sir. Now, I also in our midst, the Faculty of Management Science, Professor Abiola Adejumo. Thank you very much, ma, for coming. Now, let me introduce especially the wife of today's lecturer. And with honor, I want to recognize the presence of Mrs. Adejumo. Madam, thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much. I also here present, we are from University. Now to recognize the presence of Dr. Foluke Aliyu, ASU, University of Ilorin. Thank you very much, madam, for coming. We have Dr. Dada Adejumo from KWASU. Thank you very much for coming. I also want to welcome into our midst Professor Afolabi. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. We really appreciate your presence here. Now, the introduction is going to be in phases, so I'm going to continue with the introduction. Before I leave here, I want to recognize we have administrators in our midst, seasoned administrators, are very vast in their jobs. So I want to recognize the presence of Mr. Vios Ayodedo, Deputy Minister, which will be open and distance learning. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. We have Mr. Akabi, who's also Deputy Registrar. Thank you, Oga. We appreciate you. I also have the internal auditor of this great university. So welcome, Mr. Ismail Adigu. Thank you very much. Yes, I also want to welcome another council member into our midst, Dr. Femi Ajala. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your coming. I can see ASU Secretary, if I'm not mistaken, Professor Abedini. Thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you. Dr. Mrs. Ebijua, thank you very much for coming. We appreciate you. Now we have head of department here. I have my friend here, Professor Niyi Osunwani, head of department in English. We have Professor Abdul Sadi, HOD philosophy. Thank you very much. And HOD sociology, Dr. Amon Austin. Thank you. And I have my good leader, Lance is now the deputy dean, Dr. Adejumo. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming. So, like I said, the introduction is going to be in phases. So, if I do not recognize you now, I will do that later. Now, I want to welcome the dean of that great faculty, Faculty of Art and Social Sciences, Professor Ebijua. We welcome everybody. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. I want to seize this opportunity to appreciate every one of us for rescheduling their time to attend this third in the series of the faculty lecture, Faculty of Arts and Social Science of LAUTECH. Specifically, I want to say the idea of this regular public faculty lecture is to activate a sense of conversation between students and academic members of staff of the university on a regular basis. The first in the series was delivered by Professor Temisa Ebijua, the second by Professor Abdulwahab Tijani, and the third, which we are having today, is going to be delivered by Professor Abese of the Resadu land. Professor Adejumo of the Department of English and Literary Studies. I want to specifically appreciate our council members that have taken time to attend today's lecture. Councilmember I.O. Adejumo, you are highly welcome, sir. Councilmember Dr. Ajala, Director of Health Services of the University, you are welcome, sir. Distinguished professors in the gathering, you are welcome. Senior non-teaching staff of the university, I welcome you all. I want to especially welcome our Kabiyesi Akintola, the Alapa of Okeagba. I welcome you especially, sir. It is not easy to see you in public places like this. We thank God that you made it to our lecture. It's our honor. Thank you, sir. Deans present, I welcome all of you. Our distinguished comrades from Kwasu, you're welcome, sir. From University of Ibadan, you're welcome, and our own ASU chairman, Professor Lawal, I welcome you especially. I thought I saw him around a few minutes ago. Yeah, you're welcome, sir. Professor Taiwo Olontobaoju, you are here also, distinguished comrade. I welcome you especially, sir. That Professor is a staff of the Department of English and Literary Studies on leave in that department here. So that department is a strong one. Members of staff of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, I welcome you especially. This is your day. Great Nigerian students of the students. Great Kulu temper. Thank you for finding time to come. Heads of departments from other faculties, you are welcome especially. And before our Vice Chancellor, he'll be represented by Professor Gukule, the chairman of COPD of this university. Let me first especially welcome the children and the wife of our own Chief Professor Adejumo. You are welcome, ma, and the kids, you are all welcome. Dr. Adejumo, it's good to see you. I've not seen you for a while. You're welcome. Please sit down. And Vice Chancellor, sir, we want to appreciate you for finding time to come. And we will do this again sometime next month. The fourth of the series will be delivered by Professor Olatunde Bayo Lawi. Professor Olatunde Bayo Lawi, a famous anthropologist, he earned his PhD in anthropology from the University of Illinois in 1985. Upon he held appointments at Obafemi Awolowo University. He was pioneering and the first professor in the Department of General Studies, LAUTECH Akintola University, Ogbomoso, and the full professor of anthropology in University of Transkei, Utanta, South Africa, and the first full professor of anthropology in the Department of Archaeology and Anthropology, University of Ibadan. He will be the one to deliver the fourth of the series of the faculty lecture in August. And we will continue to roll it out like that to continue to activate some sense of conversation in the humanities and social sciences. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much. The Dean, Faculty of Social Sciences. The Vice Chancellor, sir. The Dean, the lecturer. Please permit me to quickly recognize some important dignitaries who join us when you are making your speech. We have in our midst Professor Michael Alade from physics. Professor Alade, thank you very much, sir, for coming. We have the Action Zonal Coordinator, Ibadan, Professor Goki. Thank you very much, Oga, for coming. We have the Head of Department, SLT, Dr. Ayola. Thank you very much. We really appreciate you. I also have the privilege of introducing to us the Chief Imam of this great institution, Professor Abraham Tijani, who is the HOD History. Thank you very much, sir. From the library, Dr. Ajala. Dr. Ajala, where are you? Thank you very much, sir. The former librarian and the faculty officer of this great faculty, Mr. Sandy Bolaji. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Now, we also have in our midst Engineer Mrs. Taiwo. Engineer Mrs. Taiwo. We have Professor Ayodele Olubenga from the college. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. We have Professor Olabode from Agric. Okay. Thank you very much, sir. We have Professor Lawa, the ASU chairman. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. We also have Professor Olubenga from University of Ilorin. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate you. We have Professor Domade. Thank you very much, sir. Dr. Yedeji, who is representing the butter. Butter. Thank you very much, Dr. Yedeji. Thank you very much. We have Dr. Afolabi, the acting Dean Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences. Thank you very much, sir. And from University of Ibadan is one of our own before joining the University of Ibadan. So we welcome you here, Professor Akin Odebumi. Thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate you. Now we move on. We move on. And I want to move on to the message. And I have the honor in inviting Professor Akin Odebumi for his goodwill message. You are welcome, sir. Let's go for info as it comes to the podium, please.
The Dean, our own faculty, thank you for this honor. Do I say the celebrant? The lecturer of the day, Professor Adejumo, my own brother. I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Pure and Applied Sciences, my own friend and brother. Well, it's really surprising that I'll be called upon to make a speech. I felt like sneaking in and sneaking out, so I came very late deliberately. I thought we will have been a few minutes into the lecture. All the same, I feel honored to be here anytime. This is my own university, and I've been loaned to the University of Ibadan, where I've been for some years. And I appreciate the fact that I know the two universities, and the two of them have very high standards. So I appreciate this opportunity because I saw Egbon's title and I was highly impressed. I have a very loaded day, but I think it's not going to be good for me not to be here to honor him. So I know what you are going to benefit. I know it's going to be a meal to remember forever. You are going to have a full, and then forever we'll remember that we have encountered a scholar in Professor Adejumo. Thank you very much.
for the opportunity. Congratulations to the Department of English, to the faculty, and to the university. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for making it very brief. Now we are still on the goodwill message, and I want to invite Professor Taiwo Oloruntoba Oju for his message. You are welcome, sir. Please for him as he comes to the podium.
Thank you very much for this honor. Like Professor Odebumi, this has come quite unexpectedly. I was not expecting to see anything here today, just to listen to Professor Adejumo. Excuse me. I don't know, I think I breached protocol. I should first of all salute the Vice Chancellor's representative and the Dean and the lecturer. Sorry for that omission. So, I was not expecting to say a word, but I've been called upon to say something and I have to say something. I'm happy that there are very many people here that I haven't seen in a long time, especially my good old ASU people. Professor Yegoki and the others. I'm happy to see you all here. I'm also happy to see from the University of Ilori, Dr. Foluke Aliu, and also Dr. Adejumo from Kwasu. I'm not surprised that there are so many ASU people here. Okay. I've known Adejumo for a long time and in different capacities. Two different capacities, I would say. First of all, in the area of scholarship. We happen to be in the same area of scholarship. Although when I saw the title of the lecture, and I said Phalia-Autocracy, I then called Professor Dumadi. I said, we are going to attend this lecture together because this Phalia-Autocracy looks a little beyond me. I also called my daughter who came here with us. I said, you that you're always talking about gender and things like that, also come. I'm sure that you will listen to this Phalia-Autocracy. So I'm happy that Professor Adejumo is giving this lecture. He's a great scholar. The second capacity in which I have known him is in ASU capacity. We were in the trenches together a long time ago. I'm sure that many students here have not even been born at that time. I'm talking the late 80s and early 90s. So, once again, thank you very much for the honor, and I want to enjoin everybody to listen carefully as Professor Adejumo delivers his lecture. And I apologize for my voice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We don't have the time, so we need to move quickly. Then please let me quickly introduce or recognize the presence of Professor Adejumo from the Department of Chemistry. Thank you very much, sir. And we have another council member in our midst, Professor Margaret Ariel. Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming. Now I want to invite the Vice Chancellor for his address. The Vice Chancellor, sir.
The council representative of LAUTECH, Akitola University of Technology, Ogbomoso, other council members, namely Mr. Diosun, Dr. Adala, and Professor Areo, the Royal Father here present, our friend, Professor John Akintola, the representatives of the principal officers of the university here present, provosts and deans, heads of departments, all professors here present, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say that I'm here today in two capacities. In other words, I'm wearing two caps, although no one is visible on my head. One of the caps is subsumed into the other. I'm here as Dean of the Faculty of Pure and Applied Sciences, and also to represent the Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Rom Kalilu. My coming here today is homecoming because the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences is a child of my faculty. So while I'm delivering messages I brought from the Vice Chancellor, from time to time, I will also chip in my own as the representative of the father of this faculty. I bring message of congratulations from the Vice Chancellor to the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, to the Department of English, as well as to our lecturer of today. I also bring a message of commendation from the Vice Chancellor to the faculty for holding the bull by the horn. Just recently, I was here, that time too, to represent the acting Vice Chancellor when the second lecture was being delivered. Within a short while, I'm back here to represent the Vice Chancellor in the third series of the lecture of the faculty. I give a very big kudos to the faculty because within a short time of coming on board, they have struggled to surpass even other faculties that have been in existence for the past 30 years. I'm aware that to start a venture is not as good as to sustain it. The faculty, after my faculty initiated the delivering of faculty lectures, the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences took it upon themselves to hold the first lecture the second lecture, and thereafter, the third lecture is being held today, which means that they have kept the tempo high. Kudos, the dean. I want to say that the Vice Chancellor is genuinely proud of the people that make up the staff strength of the faculty. I want to mention here that whenever I put up a write-up, some people come to me and ask, why does it usually look flawless? I want to say the secret today. I have two teachers of English, both of them here seated. The first one is Professor Adejumo, the lecturer of today. Whenever I draft any document, I'll be running after him. My second lecturer is Professor Osunbade. He's also here present. I'm sorry, but I just have to tell you the secret today. So I'm happy to be here because I know that there is no one that will come here today and will go back home the same. When I looked at the title of the lecture, Phalia-Autocracy, feminine wiles, and gender binaries within the context of Yoruba ontology, I said inside me, all this big grammar for Yoruba, I'm a proud Yoruba man. So we really appreciate all this that you have used to qualify us. I know that by the time we go into the mainstream of the lecture, everyone will have one thing or the other to gain. While I will want to declare open the lecture proper, I want to once again congratulate the faculty, the dean, the HOD, and the lecturer of today, and wish us useful deliberations. God bless you.
Please let's sustain the applause, please. Thank you very much, sir. The Vice Chancellor, other important guests in the high table. We are now at the business of the day. So for the citation of the lecturer, please join me in welcoming Dr. Ayola Gabriel Oyekola to read the citation of the lecturer. You are welcome, sir.
Standing on the existing protocol, I want to read the citation on Professor Thompson Adejumo. I think he's already on his leg. Thompson Adejumo was born in Adodo, Ogun State, to a Jehovah's Witness parent, Mr. and Mrs. Michael Adejumo Adedigba, on the 16th of April, 1962. The course of life changed for the family when in 1965 they had to go from Adodo back home in Ogbomoso as a result of the political of the saga involving the two political Akintola. At a tender age, Adejumo was left paternal grandmother, other siblings, in charge of other relations, while the parents were struggling for business. Sobriquet. Short educational. This incident necessitated the young boy's relocation to Iresadu to join his parents, where they were trying to reconfigure their lives in the relatively peaceful countryside then. Adejumo was enrolled again in the Baptist Primary School Iresadu in 1968 and graduated with a primary school leaving certificate in 1975 after having to repeat classes 1 and 2 due to reason of poor educational performance and obvious reflection of the socio-political trauma the family of the young boy was exposed to at this tender age. He proceeded to Methodist Secondary Modern School, Aromoli Ogumosho, in 1975-76 academic session and graduated with a more than 3 school certificate in flying colors, having passed all 9 subjects. His parents contemplated him to get a primary school teaching appointment, as was the practice then. But wise counsel prevailed on them to allow him proceed directly with his education rather than allow a break. Faith thwarted every effort to secure admission to grade 2 teacher, Divisional Teachers College, Ejigo then. Again, through the assistance of late Mr. O.O. Akipelu, the pioneer principal of Iresadu High School, and a friend to his father, Adejumo joined the school at Form 2 in 1979 and graduated in 1983. He had his A-levels at the Federal Government College, Ogumosho, between 1983 and 1985. In 1986, he secured admission to the premier university, Ibadan, graduating in 1989. This he followed up with an MA degree at the University of Ilorin in 1994 and a PhD degree from the University of Ibadan in 2008. His working experience. He secured his first appointment with Kwara State Government as an English teacher in Kwara Polytechnic Secondary School in 1992 and a part-time lecturer teaching use of English at the main Polytechnic. He was appointed as an assistant lecturer in the General Studies Department, LAUTECH, in 1996, where he rose through the ranks to become a professor in 2017. He has contributed to knowledge in his choosing field through his publication in several scholarly outlets, both nationally and internationally. His publication is more than 50. He's also a member of many professional associations, such as English Studies Association of Nigeria, ESAN, International Society of Oral Literature, ISO, Reading Association of Nigeria, and so many other, Also, as part of his contribution to the educational development in Nigeria, he has been an examiner for JAM for over 20 years as an item writer. As an academic, he has served his union, ASU, in various positions as branch, zona, and national level, and presently is the national financial secretary of ASU. This to show that here Adejumo is an activist whose heart is full of love, his soul on fire. He stands for justice with every step, with every voice. He stands for the right of marginalized choice. His compassion shines like a beacon bright, guiding those in need through darkest night. His love is a force that moves mountains, breaking chains and barriers, reaching the sky. That's why Akaji is a gentleman with gentle hands. He heals the wounded heart. He's a rainbow in the stormy sky. A symbol of faith, as a river that flows like a stream, quenching the thirst of a war in need of a dream. You are a loving activist, a true hero, a shining star that shines bright. Keep shining as you present the third faculty lecture. And as we all know, flower cannot flourish without sunshine. The sunshine in his life is no other one than a princess, a pastor, Oyebola Adewumi ni Oladipo. And the marriage is blessed with children. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Thompson Adejobi, the presenter of today's third faculty lecture. Thank you very much.
The Chancellor ably represented, sir. The Vice Chancellor, ably represented by the Dean of Pure and Applied Sciences, other principal officers in Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences, Chairman, Committee of Provost and Deans, Dean, Postgraduate School, professors, directors of units, heads of departments, directors of units, colleagues within and other faculties, dear students, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. The topic of today's lecture was purposefully chosen because it addresses a fundamental question in the society, bordering about the relationship that exists between genders that has created, in some instances, serious tensions. And the question is, do we continue along this trajectory? What should we do? And of course, in doing this, we have situated the discourse with the worldview of the Yoruba people. How, especially, how the average Yoruba mind perceives the woman. How does the average woman or female perceives the male gender? What is to be done? A lot of scholarships have grown out of this. Phallocentrism is an idea woven around the perceived oppression and domination of the women, or domination of the society by men. And we try to interrogate this in the course of the lecture. Of course, we are trying to do that within the context of the Caesarean triad of thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. And we know where the genders stand within this triadic relationship. Are the men the thesis? Are the women the thesis? And that is true, how do we resolve this crisis? Ingratitude, they say, is a sin before man and God. On this note, permit me to express my profound gratitude to the leadership of our young but upwardly mobile faculty for giving me the opportunity to deliver this third edition of the Faculty of Arts and Social Sciences lecture series. It's a very significant number in the pantheon of IFA divinatory system. Also, the number was viewed as a deeply spiritual numeral by Pythagoras, the Greek philosopher. For him, it was the perfect number of harmony, wisdom, and understanding. It also correctly defines the natural rhythm of time and life, i.e., past, present, future, beginning, middle, and the end, birth, life, and death. That is the number 3. In the Christian doctrine, the religious observances are hinged on the holy triad of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. All this underscores the significance of the number 3 faculty lecture that is holding here today. Let me also place it on record here that I am motivated by the values and the engaging intellectual fervor of my friend and pioneer dean of the faculty, Professor Temisa Adejumo, who fired the first salvo by delivering the very first edition of the faculty lecture, quickly followed by the second one, delivered by Professor Abraham Wahab Tijani, the chief imam of the university, about 4 months ago. The motivation for this came from the lyrical rendering of the frontline juju maestros in the late 70s, Admiral Dele Abiodun, in a battle of supremacy with his juju musical colleague, Emperor Pictures. This led to exchanges between who are taking turn to fire hot musical salvos at each other, albums after albums. It was in one such references to Pictures that David Abiodun was the song. Kọkùnrin tàtọrin kóbìnrin tàtọrin ẹnìkan ní láti lómi lẹ́yìn ẹsẹ̀ jura wọn lọ, and so on and so forth. And that is the crux of the matter. That is the crux of the matter. Expand on that. Translated roughly as in the context of urinating or motion between men and women, one is surely going to make mess of his or her clothes. This was occasioned by the rivalry between two musicians. It speaks volumes about the eternal rivalry between the two genders, male versus female. This has continued to create tension between the two in every facet of life. It also speaks about the locus of authority, power load, and the manipulative strategies deployed by the two to control the society. This indeed is the breeding ground of gender politics, where the two sexes, in extreme cases, have been a dagger game. It also provides questions in gender relations: who actually holds the power, who is the oppressor, and who is the oppressed in the real and practical sense of gender relationship. These are very germane questions that we shall be speaking to as progress. In our way, let's provide some answers to this process using Levi-Strauss's theory of binary opposition. Samples were taken from Yoruba adages and aphorisms for granted how men perceive women's behavior within the context of Yoruba ontology. We also attempt an examination of women's responses as counter-actions against the alleged men's domination. The relationship in the society are offered at the end of the lecture. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, permit me to start this lecture by this introduction. Our existential realities are configured along a carefully patterned structure of binary opposites. It is with these amazing natural binaries that man navigates and negotiates his diurnal engagements. Hence, our choices, preferences, sentiments, and even ideological inclinations are reflections of these natural binaries. Simply put, our professional, associational, domestic, and other engagements are constantly signposted by where we fall in the binary scheme of cosmic order. Simply expressed, the existence of light presages the existence of darkness. For example, it is not an accident that our timelines fall within the two rigid chronocentric regimes. Daylight is associated with sunlight, while nighttime or evening is associated with darkness. But in Yoruba view, just like many other cultures, translate into contextual environment for doing good or perpetrating evil. This is actually captured in the Yoruba adage. Orula Sheka, evil act is perpetrated in the night. Anyone who perpetrates it in the daylight will not go God free. Ingrained in our subconsciousness are the established of our environment in every process of engagement. Just for example, we may be ignorant of wisdom if foolishness is not in existence. Likewise, for those of us that are religion inclined, the existence of hell as a spiritual counterpart to heaven provides the fertile ground for sanctimonious blackmail on which contemporary religious houses feed today. This naturalness of conceiving our environment existential realities in opposite peers, let me hazard this here, might not be unconnected with the bicameral structure of our brains, having the tendency to organize our realities into split cognitive hemispheres. Over to you, scientists in the house. As my dean will say, water is life. Theoretical background. This work benefits from Levi-Strauss's theory of structuralism. But before going into that, let me put it on record here that the theory was not originally propounded by the Saussure. It was Hegel that had earlier propounded the theory of binary dialectics, where opposing thoughts interact and produce conflictual ideas. This leads to the production of the third force, which is the synthesis that resolves the conflicts generated by the originating conflicts produced by the physics and synthesis. This is a progressive system of differentiation and integration. Let me explain this further. We say there is hell, there is heaven. For the religious people, they operate within these two forces. Is there any third force for heaven and hell? There is a third force, which some religions also that there is no hell, there is no heaven anywhere. That if you do well, if you do evil on earth, when you die, that evil, by the time you reincarnate, that evil will come back to you. If you do good, and when you die, by the time you reincarnate, that good will come back to you. This leads us to the third force, in that order, that while you are here, you choose where you want to go and you act accordingly. If you want to enjoy good life, when you come back, you do good. If you want to enjoy bad life, when you come back, you do bad. That seems to me a third force. Theory was also later taken up by Karl Marx, who took a look at the social structure, especially in a capitalist system, and discovered that there exists a fundamental conflict between different groups. For him, the need for survival forces different groups to enter into productive relationship. This generates its own conflict between the profit-conscious owners of factors of production and the workers. On the other hand, this is at the base of the eternal conflict between profit and wages. Well, if we continue having industrial action, it is a response to the perceived oppression and exploitation of the masses, of the workers, by the profit-conscious employers of labor. And if solution is not found to that relationship, that conflict will not disappear, and our society is imperiled. So, ASU goes on strike. Don't blame ASU. It's a reaction to the continuous exploitation of academics by the Nigerian state, the operators of Nigerian state. And that is what has led us to where we are today. We have teachers in the house in other sectors of the educational institution in this country, institutions in this country. Public primary and secondary schools have disappeared because of the bad attitude of the rulers and ruiners of this country towards education. And according to Karl Marx, there is a third force. And this third force is the dissolution of the capitalist system. That system, where the wealth of the society is equally shared by all. That for him is the resolution to the eternal rivalry, eternal conflict between the employers of labor and the workers. So, in Levi-Strauss's theory of structuralism, we have chosen this because it has direct relevance here, and of particular interest to us is his alliance theory, which situates marriage at the center of social relation. Claude Lévi-Strauss was a French cultural theorist who the structural theory of binary opposites. For the study and understanding of culture, the central thesis of his theory is that all human cultures are made up of universal structures. Variations are added to this universal base as it travels across social milieux through civilizations. For example, Levi-Strauss breaks up a lot of parallelisms between language and culture, where language is composed of basic units, starting from the phoneme, which are the bedrocks, building up to the larger units, that is words, phrases, clauses, and sentences. In social relations, equals to the individual, the family unit, the kinship ties, and society. It is from such social structures that society practices most that which have emerged. It is instructive to note that structuralism as a field of academic engagement emanated from the Saussurian linguistic theory. It gained prominence in the 1950s through the cultural anthropologists and later became impactful in social sciences and humanities. Structuralism was also greatly influenced by Roman Jacobson of Prague School of Linguistics, who encouraged the propounder to write who came out to become his most important book, The Elementary Structure of Kinship, which he published in 1947. In Prof alliance theory, marriage is situated at the center of social relation as against Brown's consent theory, which sees marriage as merely performing procreational role for the production of descent line. Located within this theory is a masculine ethos, which sees woman just as a means towards an end, that is the perpetuation of male line of descent. This in no doubt is a graphic demonstration of the victimification of the woman person in the marital context. For us, marriage is far more important than maintenance of descent. Rather, it creates a chain of relationship between wife givers and wife takers. Within this arrangement, incest becomes a serious taboo. However, sister exchange is not a taboo. It rather creates a network of exchange within the exchanging groups. Trust, rather than dwelling on the phallocentric focus of Brown's strictures on the perpetuation of male line of descent, liberalizes the inheritance line where property can be transmitted down male line. This, according to him, fosters solidarity among group members by ties of consanguinity. For see, what is being said here is, in many Yoruba cultures, especially if you are from the royal house, it is only male member that can produce the next Oba. My HOD, listen to this. Some societies will vow that no female can produce the next line of Obaship in their. But what is being said here is that can be liberalized. Rather than see the women as performing procreational role to produce members for the line of descent, wife exchange is encouraged to encourage consanguinity, and inheritance can be transmitted along the two lines, which means that I, as I married the princess of Rosado, her children can also ascend the throne. That, for me, would resolve most of the tensions that around succession disputes in royal families. I hope my HOD agrees with us. Theory, briefly discussed above, Prussian theory of structuralism, also known as theory of binary opposites, provides a relevant point of reference in the present discourse. Central to this theoretical postulate is the triadic relationship between thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Here, the human mind conceives every phenomenon of our existential realities in binary opposites. Thus, whiteness automatically conjures up the idea of blackness, good versus bad, rich versus poor, tall versus short, truth versus falsehood, and so on. In the historian triad, the potential tension created by these opposites can be resolved through the intervention of the conscious and purposive mental agency, which creates a thought force as a synthesis. This is represented in the diagram below, as we have there. The abstract is usually described thus: the thesis is an intellectual proposition. The antithesis is a negation of the thesis. A reaction to the proposition and synthesis solves the conflict between the thesis and the antithesis by reconciling their common truth so as to aid a new proposition. See Ragnath and Nekani, 2012. Gender relations in African ontology, the Yoruba view as case study. We are now getting to the crux of the matter. Having looked the theoretical background, we'll now discuss the issues as represented by the Yoruba worldview. They are not my views, they are the views of all of us that are Yoruba men. The traditional Yoruba is unapologetically patriarchal. This is actually captured in their proverbs, aphorisms, and wisecracks. Samples of such are explored here for analysis and discussion within the context of the focus of this paper. As a launch part of our discussion, let us examine the following piece of aphorism. Roughly translated as follows. When saliva she morphs into a malevolent hag. The arrangement of reflects the natural predilection of the human mind to produce objects, ideas, and phenomena in binary opposite pairs. Here, saliva becomes a pair of epilepsy. Long-lasting soul science, the thought of gangrene soul. In the process, the ground is laid for the subtle logic of blackmail turned against the woman, who becomes a pair of a witch for the offense of outliving generations in the husband's house. The tendency to construe every women as witches in some African contexts, for example, among the Yoruba, stem from the cultural biological consideration. A woman that has gone past the cyclic ritual of monthly discharges is believed to have seen it all in the marital context. She has gone beyond the amateurist level of marital engagement. As such, at times, she can stand communion as equals in life's experiences. The patriarchal of the African existence can hardly brook this. As a consequence of the above, various devices, including linguistic, are deployed to clip the wings of such women and put them in their right places. Or how do we explain the criminalization of the woman for long life? Simply put, is like a witch just on account of our longevity. What name do we have for men enjoying similar grace of long life? Well, this. The crux of the matter is that a woman who has lasted so long in the marital context must have mastered various acts of subterfuge and feminine wiles of subverting the male members of the family. Beyond this, if she is left unchecked, she has the capacity of influencing younger women to undermine the men's authority in the house. A Yoruba adage, "Bí kò bá ní ìdí, obìnrin kì í jẹ́ Kúmólú." But for happenstance, a woman is never named Kumolu. The name Kumolu is an instance of contraction of a whole sentence to a single nominal lexical item. Ikumolu, Kumolu, that are taking a hero. Among the Yoruba people, just like in many other African cultures, great premium is placed on the male child because of the patriarchal system of inheritance, especially the royal families. Ordinarily, first of the surviving male child of a family is called Daudu. By virtue of cultural practice, he takes over the affairs of the family at the demise of the father, who was the family head before his death. Daudu, therefore, is the Olu of the family, where Olu is roughly translated to mean the most important. He, among the Yoruba, is the Oluomo, most important child. It must, however, be quickly pointed out here that in some instances, the Oluomo might not necessarily be the first child due to various factors ranging from spiritual, social, to economic in modern times. What I'm saying is that in our societies today, many women have emerged as Oluomo, either because of economic reasons, Oluomo, even giving employment, employing myriads of men to work for her. Oluomo might also, a woman might also emerge as Oluomo if the family has been visited by mishaps, such that what all the useful male members have died off. Grudgingly, the Yoruba mind will accept, well, this is the Olu of the family. May we never suffer such fate in our lives. The importance of being an Oluomo is underscored by the Yoruba naming habit of prefixing the names of some of their children with the monomorphic word Olu. This is instantiated by such Yoruba names as Oluwole, Oluremi, Olulakin, Olushola, Oludalapo, and so on. The Yoruba people don't believe that Olu, who is expected to be the shining light of the family, must necessarily be male. But due to the factors of happenstance, there are situations where such shining lights are female. It is only such situations that force an average Yoruba mind to accept this inescapable fate grudgingly by naming such female Kumolu, if not for the death of worthy male survivors in the family. No female is so named. Even in the balance of our sartorial mode, Yoruba people believe that the ungracious shortness of a man's vestment is reflective of the wiles. Those of us that would wear short, skimpy clothes, all in the names of fashion. I hope your wives are not too wise, as the Yoruba people believe. Cloth here should not be taken literally. It is an instance of a deployment of extended metaphor. Ordinarily, the cloth covers the otherwise nakedness of the body. In the process, All the secret blemishes of the body are kept away from others. In the Yoruba tradition, part of the measures of determining real men is the ability to keep secrets. Such men are regarded as men or elders with deep stomach. Real men, in dealing with women, including their wives, should be able to keep within themselves vital pieces of information, especially the volatile ones with the potential of creating crisis. This should not be misconstrued that men should keep secrets from their wives. But there are some secrets whose time of revelation is not due. By nature, we are so wired differently that some can keep such secrets, some cannot keep such secrets. So don't reveal secrets that you feel that time of revelation has not matured. That is what that proverb is saying. This does not mean that if you have 10 naira in the house, you make full disclosure to your wife that in this house today we have only 10 naira. So that is full disclosure. What happens thereafter? You bear it. Really, in dealing with women, including their wives, should be able to keep within themselves vital pieces of information, especially the volatile ones with potentials of creating crisis. Women are conscious of this, and they go extra miles to accept every bit of information resident in their husband's mind. Superlatively cunning women at times succeed in getting such information from their husbands. When that happens, and the other men get to know about it, such men lose respect among their peers. Nobody consequently confides in such men because such men have been stripped naked of their vestments because of the wiles. Nobody consequently confides in such men. When this happens, the woman is said to have successfully used her feminine wiles to reduce the length of the husband's garment. It is within such context that Yoruba cautions a man for no hoping. Confide in a woman. Where a woman cannot reach, her mouth reaches there. Let me explain here. It is the inscrutable essence of a man. You cannot, by any art, know what goes on in the mind of a man. We got here as but exceptionally wise women or wileful women succeed in assessing the core of the mind of their husbands. Even when such husbands do not want to reveal such secrets. And this is what they're saying. If you refuse to, if she cannot see your mind, she deliberately provoke you through her mouth. And in another, you might unconsciously spill the beans. So where the eyes do not reach, her mouth has reached there. So this cautions us as men, when your wife provokes you, rather than reacting, simply walk away so that you don't say what you are not expected to say. Otherwise, she will use her mouth to reach where your heart is. The major point here is that women are not to be relied upon, especially when it comes to matters of keeping secrets. Unlike men, women are portrayed here as purveyors of information, no matter how secret or sacred. Women, apparently, in the knowledge of the nature of men, with their ability to keep secrets, reach into the arsenal of their wiles, including their proclivity for shedding tears easily to collect information from men, especially their husbands. Powerful men are falling victims of this emotional blackmail to their wives and to their eternal regret. Whoever doubts this should read the tragic story of Samson and Delilah in the Bible. It's something. When Delilah was pushing him, probing him, what's the source of your awesome power? Samson never for once asked her, what's the source of your stunning beauty? So when you find yourselves in such situations, learn to ask counter questions that will resolve the matter. That is the third force. Thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Of the contending gender position politics is the entrenchment of the existence of fatherland. This is another instance. Without a tongue, in reference to different nationalities. Or how else do we explain the differences that exist between fatherland and mother tongue? How does the father, with the capacity to own a land, has been so pathetically bereft of capacity to own a tongue? While we hear about our fatherland, we only talk about our mother tongue, as if fathers don't have a tongue. We should question that. How it is the linguistic politics of gender balancing that such is explained. Beyond this, the child's first and most intimate interaction is with the mother, and the mother therefore has the upper hand in shaping the linguistic acquisition of the infant. At the home front, this gender politics is actively played by women who, through the development of womanish wiles, Nicodemously tilt the emotional scale and affection of the children towards themselves, while the man is surreptitiously portrayed as the wicked dispenser of discipline, while they play the role of the comforter from the father's tyranny. Men, shine your eyes when it comes to the matters of discipline in the house. I'm taking from experience. I've been a victim of that. We are very sick. Is there anything that the pen can only be wielded by the father? What happens to the mother's hand? Men in the house, please shine your eyes when your wife reports your children to you in matters of discipline. When your wives tell the children, you see what will happen to you when the father comes. And when we come, they report the children to us. The next thing is to reach out for the cane. You beat the child, the mother is the next person you see, comforting. That is the way your father behaves. Might be not coming. I mean, now lie at the talk. Subversive strategies. While all these are going on, women also have not kept quiet. They have responded in their own measures. Also, the manifestation of feminine wiles at the various segments of social interactions are purposively targeted at the subversion of the so-called patriarchal autocracy in our society. How else Do we explain the formation and active nurturing of various female-based professional associations, such as female academics, female lawyers, female engineers, female whatever? That is to what end? Have women not formed association of male lawyers, male academics, male teachers? The intention behind it goes beyond the ordinary. It is within the framework of use of service, subversive agenda, that the various forms of women association, including women academics, including a film brand of feminism, have grown and taken root. As Alkali submit, current feminist writers and writings have taken extreme positions by excessively demanding for women freedom. The use of approach, the approach of oppositional feminism, oppositional feminism, opposition to who? Male domination. Social elation from the prism of oppressor and oppressed. Opposition on the basis of gender differences. We and them, etc. generate undue tension in workplaces, homes, schools, and even in worship houses. Also, in an emotion-laden tone, people of womanist tantrums, modern laments a perceived men-inspired oppression of women as follows. Women are an oppressed class. Our oppression is total, affecting every facet of our lives. We are exploited as sex objects, breeders, domestic servants, and cheap labor. We are considered as inferior beings whose only purpose is to enhance men's lives. We identify the agent of our oppression as men. That's another extreme position from a feminist. In the same way, fired by bellicose fervor, Fumi Onimayi gives a belligerent definition of feminism as a reaction to male false sense of superiority, and therefore indirectly an offshoot of male chauvinism. Contained in the words quoted above is the crux of the matter, i.e., power relations between the two genders is marked by suspicion and outright distrust. In such situations, memes are easily read into even the most innocuous actions and statements. But it is with such consciousness that women deliberately go out to subvert the men at every facet of life. In the process, every available device, including emotional trickery and related manipulative wiles, comes handy as a useful tool against the male species. A woman herself, in her controversial book, The Manipulated Man, explains that the rivalry of women is fired by the powerful urge and the need to own a male for herself. She labors to keep him to herself and tricks him to care for her and her offsprings alone all his life. She, through trickery, makes him run circles and be rewarded by a few minutes of sexual pleasure. Sisyphus in the Greek mythology was the king of Corinth that was punished for his extreme trickery by Zeus, and he was made to roll the stone, a big boulder, against the gradient, a task he can never accomplish. That is what women make men go through, according to Miller. The woman is like a slave owner. She depends every move that the man will take to offer services to other women. A woman will do everything to ensure that his man does not offer his services to other women. Then who is oppressing who? If I, as a man, I see a woman suffering and I want to assist her, and my wife says, who is oppressing who? It is woman oppressing woman. How does she do this? She conveniently creates two additions in the man. One, she manipulates his stomach to love her food alone. And two, goes him on to develop an emotional affection and love for her alone. The Adam and Eve story is instructive here. Adam was alone in the garden, keeping himself, fending for himself until Eve came. Eve took over and took over his appetite, provides everything he eats, such that Adam could not resist anything that she brought. That when she brought the forbidden fruit, she couldn't resist it. So that is what some of us, we are all suffering today. Through the woman who has created an addiction in the tongue for the man. She pushed him against God, and the consequences are known to all of us. One, she manipulates his stomach to love her food, and two, goes him to develop an emotional affection and love for her alone. These two addictions are what I call the politics of stomach and bread. Man is eternally enslaved. When you say the way to a man's heart is his mouth or his stomach, that is what is being said here. When your wife, when you fail to, for whatever reason, to eat your wife, your food, your wife's food at home, and she begins to throw up tantrums, you are trying to make her schemes of creating an addiction in you not to work, and she resists that. These two addictions are what I call here the politics of stomach and bed, through which man is eternally enslaved. As expected, majority of women and girlfriends, especially in America, became so enraged by this publication that they bought several copies of the book and burnt them publicly. I hope people are not in my lecture. Helen Fisher, in her book, The Sex Contract, The Evolution of the Human Behavior, debunks the notion of male brilliance or dominance over women's shortcomings in human sexual arena. Here, she makes reference to the evolutionary changes that the women's sexuality has witnessed several years ago among our proto-hominid ancestors. These changes have wired women to derive more sexual pleasure with the ratio of eos in the human species, thus imbuing the woman with the capacity to make love all year round, and so on. So the woman is wired in sexual relationship to be the superior partner, in spite of all these pretenses. So the woman is at the receiving end. The man is at the receiving end. It's only that women have mastered the art of masking their true feelings in such relationships. So, which gives women the ability of multiple orgasm, the adaptation of the breast, protruding buttocks, etc., which are all designed to increase her desirability to her male partner. All this, she submits, is that the human female is a virtual sex machine with no equal on the planet, including a masculine counterpart. That's not my words, oh. It's somebody else's words. So, a woman herself. The question that comes to mind here is the woman's species is so naturally wired to be more sexually active than men. Where then is the much touted men's aggression in sexual relationship coming from? The answer is simple. The women folk have over the years mastered the art of disguising and covering up their true sexual emotion, leaving the men to choose to chase and woo them while they continue putting up the veneer of pretended disinterestedness, thereby throwing up the men as the aggressor. What a splendid deployment of feminine wile. In contemporary times, women across all ages have collectively been beaten by the bug of the new fad of painting up their faces in variegated fashion paints, all in an attempt to attract the attention of their male counterpart, while still pretending to be disinterested in the male masculine advances. Chinwezu Ibekwe, in his seminal book, The Anatomy of Female Power, takes a look at the power tension between men and women in society and submits the natural goal of the male power is to pay tribute to women. Then male power is naturally tributary to female power. If however powerful men, however powerful a man may be, his power is used to serve the women in his life. That will make dubious the notion that men are masters over women, because every man has as boss, wife, or his mother, or some woman, or some women in his life. Men rule the world, but the women rule the men who rule the world. But contrary to the woman is the boss, the overall boss of the world. Submission and intellectual dissection of the nature of gender relationship in our society. Chinwezu submits that matriarchy has ruled not through wrong, but wit and tricks the women training witness to be protected. Let's look at our electoral law in the country. If I'm from Ogbomoso as a man, and I want to contest election, I can only contest in Ogbomoso local government. If my wife is from Ibadan, she can contest here, both here and Ibadan. So who is oppressing who? What arguments and counter arguments rage on? Gender relation continues on a path of toxic exchanges and suspicion keeps mounting. This calls for a need for critical renegotiation of gender relations to forge a more harmonious humanity. Who then are the heroes and the villains in the contemporary world, racing furiously down the track of moral and social atrophy on the basis of mutual suspicion between the two needlessly antagonistic genders? Can we stand this side through the agency of the definitions of role between men and women by allowing man to be man and woman to be woman? The answers as possible solution to the issues raised here are contained in the proposals made at the concluding session of this presentation. Concluding remarks. We conclude this presentation by offering that undue generalization of interpersonal relationship is a breeding ground of suspicion, biases, and generative tensions. This leads invariably in one direction, that is crisis. Men and women should remain on their natural lanes, bring their various natural endowments into their symbiotic table for the health of all. This is what we refer to here as complementary opposites rather than binary opposites. Following the Saussurian triad referred to earlier in this discussion, we have developed what is represented in the diagram below, especially to propagate our stance on men and women as contemporary, as complementary opposites, as we have in that diagram there. So, in all spheres of our social interactions between men, between the genders, as captured in co-parental, we advise let the urinary habit of men and women be only lavatory. There is no basis for public display of urinary acrobatics between the two. Having said all this, there is no of navigating the tricky waters of gender relationship in our daily interactions. The Alatise parable comes handy here. Alatise odi fún asínwín tó lọ yáwó lọ́wọ́ Alatise. Aṣiwèrè lóhùn ó sin gbà. Kò gbélé kò gbọ́ náà. Ó lóhùn ó sún onígbọ̀wọ́ ẹ̀. K'Alatise kó má ti ṣe ara ẹ̀. Ire o.
Let's sustain that applause, please. We can have our seat, please. Thank you very much, sir, for that beautiful lecture. We really appreciate that lecture, and it was taken very well. Another round of applause for the lecturer, please. Now, the Vice Chancellor, the Dean of the faculty, the lecturer, please permit me to recognize these two important dignitaries in our midst. The postgraduate school, Professor O. Ogunleye. Thank you very much for coming. We have the Dean Faculty of Renewable Natural Resources, Professor Elu Alamu, is also in our midst. Thank you very much, sir. Now we are at the comments and observation, and this is how we are going to do it as instructed. Each row, we are going to produce just one speaker in each row, and we are going to balance the gender. So it's going to be 2 men and 2 women. So each row, 1, 1, 1. So for this row, please. Nobody here. So take it here. Nobody. Okay, here. 1. Here. The KBS is here. Nobody there.
Good afternoon, everybody. I stand to represent the male gender. Sorry. As it goes, Alatise, okay now. Sir, how can you advise us? Ẹ jẹ́ n sọ Yorùbá sà. Bá ti fẹ́ bá ọmọ wí bí bàbá tí a ò ní dàbí ẹkùn lójú ọmọ. If I now chastise my child and the mother still comes behind me láti máa rẹ ọmọ,
Ṣé mi ò ní jẹ̀bi? Yes, sir. Báwo ni a ṣe máa bá ọmọ wí tí a ò ní jẹ̀bi?
The question is not. Ladies and gentlemen, mine will not be questions per se. I plead to have the attention of the lecturer. Ladies and gentlemen, mine will not be questions, but I have some contributions. And I want to look at the presentation from traditional and cultural point of view. While the speaker was presenting, he talked about the royal families not allowing the female to enjoy the same advantage as male children. And the reason is obvious. The reason behind that is as a result of transfer of gene from its original place to another place. So there is dilution. So nobody will take that. Not only that, when a female is married out, she will have abandoned some cultural practices that she was engaged in originally. And she will have surrendered her names too. So, because you will not allow, you cannot bear the maiden name of your wives. You cannot. So there are a lot of things that will have been surrendered as a result of that. Tradition, custom practices, including our traditional religion. For example, if you are worshiping Oshun in your family and a princess is married to where they are worshiping Ogun, she will abandon Oshun and go into Ogun. So she has surrendered part of the qualification for her to ascend the throne. So custom, religion, names, and all those things are there. So there is no prayer breed again. It's about diploid and haploid in genetics. So we will not allow that. Number two, we talked about our father's land and mother's tongue. And we can get the answer to that from the Bible. When God created everything, he created everything for Adam, including the land. And the man was stealing the land. But because of the loquacious nature of female, she spoke to the devil and problems started. So that is why we refer them to having mother's tongue. So you presented the position that Tobirin Bakpenle Oko Ajelunda. In Yoruba parlance, we don't really call them witches or the ones that practice witchcraft. They are product of experience as a result of longevity in that house. So they are able to foresee more than what the younger ones will see. That is what Yoruba is saying. We are not calling them that they are involved in witchcraft, that they have mastered so many things as a result of experience. Not only that, the problem we have is about Western culture, tradition, and education. In the time past, there is no Western education, and even female cannot marry more than one male. But it is permissible and allowed that for male to marry many wives, including the Obas. So, what has brought all this problem is as a result of Western education, and we have to contend with it. In traditional medicine, we don't make the women to be judges, even in the palace. If we have a yellow day, our role is to advise the Obas when it comes to matters of tradition. But these days, you can see what has happened. And probably, Vice Chancellor, maybe we should recommend to you that come August 1st, don't appoint any female as head of department again. They will create further problems for us. Finally, sir, science has taught us. You see, our forefathers too, they were great scientists. The gene with which males were made up became developed by environmental situation. And that is the reason why we found men in those days engaged in some things. In warfare, you don't sell females there. The real warriors are male.
because they have that gene for resilience and environments have developed it. And it forms even in so many acts that you are doing. So the issue of making my wife to be equal to me, I think there is a problem. Women are powerful. You are only powerful in the house, within, but you should not, we should not allow them to express all things when it comes to governance. And I mean it, except we are going to abrogate the monarchical system that we run in Nigeria. Apology to all females that are here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. From that room. Exactly. Please, that's a female here.
Good afternoon, everyone. I really appreciate your lecture, sir. Thank God I came at the right time. You were about to start the lecture by the time I came. Sir, there's one that says, behind every successful man, there must be a woman. Sir, by the time you are writing your thesis to become PhD holder, I know Pastor Mrs. Bola Adejumo have been standing in gap for you and the children. With all due respect, sir, without her behind you, that great achievement can never be attained. For that reason, sir, I would say women were great achievers because without us, you cannot achieve anything. Yes, I stand to be challenged. Without women, there's no man can achieve anything. Now we are in economic crisis. If you go to, I don't want to mention any criteria here, with your 3,000 naira, you cannot feed yourself 3 times in a day. If you can endeavor to give your wife 3,000 naira, it will provide you in a day. You be satisfied. Sir, sir, you are talking about warrior. Adejumo. For the Christian in the house, there's no man in Israel to fight the battle. Deborah surrendered himself and he led the battle. Thank you. Let me stop here. But
I want to stand the established protocol.
The noise is too much, please.
To start with, I sincerely want to appreciate the faculty. Our university is becoming one. That's without the, we wouldn't have had this kind of lecture that is disturbing every mind, or perhaps agitating every mind. I want to thank the faculty on that. And I want to encourage you to go ahead with this kind of lecture, especially for our younger ones that are coming. The university is going ahead. And I have an observation. I want to go ahead to say something that the KBC have said. A woman is not equal to a man. That's the fact. However, what I said from what the lecturer said is that we should complement and supplement ourselves. That's what he said, and it's on page 20. The diagram on page 20 is your agitation. Superior to the woman, my creation. But the part can complement that of a man in some instances. A woman is not equal to a man. Thank you.
Just one, please. Just one. Please, the time is, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, sirs, my professors, invited guests, my colleagues and friends, and greatest Nigerian students. I think in this evolving world of digitality, with this emergence of artificial intelligence and so many other things that has to do with technology, if we have to look at these issues of male dominance or patriarchal society or patriarchal system, I think what we need in our society is love. Now, we can see women giving birth without men. We can see women standing alone without saying, I don't want to get married to any man. It is not, Africa, it's not African. It's not about African orientation. I think what we need is love. Do we really say this is the role, the limitation of the role? Okay, you want to train your children. Is the money is from the wife or the mother, and you are married, husband and wife. Do you now say because it's the wife that has the money, you should not pay the school fees of the children? So what I'm trying to emphasize, the love for humanities. Though we are Africans, we have our culture, but we should also see that the love for ourselves, the love for humanity should prevail about seeing ourselves as male dominance, patriarchal society or matriarchal society brought by the Western education, saying that women are superior to men, even based on nature, even by physical structure. So many things that men can do that women cannot do. I am not saying that. But love for humanity should prevail. I think so. Love for humanity, that's what I'm advocating for.
Please, let's look at it from a spiritual angle.
Okay, thank you very much.
The last one, please.
Thank you very much. The issue of equality between the two genders does not arise. The fathers of sociology, Auguste Comte, Emily Durkheim, observed and stated categorically that the family is a system, and in every system, there has to be a locus of authority. We have a group, a womanist, feminist, theorist group, led by Professor Mary Ebolu, Dr. Mrs. Korede. I'm a member of that group. This group believes that the family as a system must have a locus of authority. In African society, the Africans say, the man is the head of the family. He has responsibilities. He has his duties. There is as the head, you cannot have a head without the body. So he pays the bill and do other things. So you don't talk of equality, you talk of equity. Justice and equity for the female gender, not equality. Does it exist? Thank you.
Thank you very much. That will be all. The Vice Chancellor, the Dean, the lecturer, please quickly permit me to recognize these people in our midst. And I want to recognize the Reverend of the lecturer, the pastor of his church, Reverend Dr. B.C. Ajasa from Sajah Baptist Church. Yeah, you thank you very much, sir, for coming. We have Deacon Tari from Sajah Baptist Church. Yeah, you. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. I have Professor A.P. Ogunwale. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. We have Professor Mrs. Adejumo. Thank you very much, ma'am, for coming. We have Mr. Akin Lotan. Thank you very much, sir, for coming. Mr. You, thank you very much, sir. And the children of our lecturer, we have Dr. Faith Adejumo. Thank you for coming. Dr. Shola Adejumo. Thank you. And Temilade Adejumo. Thank you for coming. Now we are gradually moving to the end of the program. And for the vote of thanks, I want to invite Professor Akim Oladiti for the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah. On behalf of the Dean, Deputy Dean, and the entire faculty, we sincerely appreciate the Vice Chancellor for honoring our invitation. Thank you, sir. So we are also expressing our gratitude to the lecturer for giving us a thought-provoking lecture today. Thank you very much, sir. Deans, we sincerely appreciate you for giving us the opportunity to be able to listen today. To all our audience, we thank you for your attention. We thank you for your time. God bless all of you. Thank you.
On behalf of the faculty, that is the Faculty of Art and Social Sciences, we want to appreciate every one of us for coming. So on that note, shall we all rise for our anthems, starting with the LAUTECH anthem.
LAUTECH anthem.
Our state anthem.